Hi there, everyone. First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Jan Ryherd here. We've got an update on our impending winter weather situation. There is a winter storm starting to move into parts of Iowa, and we're going to give you all the latest on timing and totals and everything here through the next several minutes. Let's look right now at where that winter storm warning is. Kind of blankets the TV9 viewing area for us at this point. That goes into effect here this evening as things really start getting going, and then stays in effect through tomorrow evening. So this is going to be a somewhat long-lived storm system for us that we're dealing with here for the evening commute tonight. Tomorrow morning, that morning commute definitely looks like it's going to be a tough go, and then again into tomorrow evening still. Here's where that storm is set up right now. Satellite radar picture showing western Iowa, southwestern Iowa dealing with snowfall at this time into northern parts of Missouri and eastern Kansas, as well as Nebraska too. This is a live view from the Minden area along I-80 in western Iowa. You can see things just kind of starting to accumulate there as those wet snowflakes are falling. And then I-29 near Sioux City, we can see that snow starting to accumulate as well. Again, this is just those areas that are just getting in on this storm system. More snow to come for these areas, and more to come for us, obviously, as we're still sitting in good seasonal road conditions in eastern Iowa, but starting to see some of those blue and pink partly or completely covered roadways out to the west. So when it comes to travel here in eastern Iowa, this is what we're looking at. Snow developing here this afternoon. We're going to time it out for you here on Pinpoint Futurecast in just a second. That's going to cause some slick roads for us here through the evening hours. Tomorrow morning, that snow still around with us. In fact, heavy at times, will cause some difficult travel for that morning commute, and snow still continues throughout the day. That Tuesday afternoon commute and evening will be a tough go as well, with all the snow on the ground and wind picking up too. So it's not only the snowfall totals that we're looking at with this one, but wind will also be somewhat of a concern for us. Here's the all-important timing on Pinpoint Futurecast. Storm continues to drift northward as we head through the afternoon hours. We'll stop here at 5 p.m., starting to see some of those impacts from Tama down towards the south of the Iowa City area, Washington, Mount Pleasant, Oskaloosa, getting in on some of that snow as we head through that dinner time frame. Quickly is pushing to the north. Again, here we are now, 7 o'clock this evening. Anyone from Charles City down to Waterloo, including much of Lynn County now and down towards the Quad Cities, getting in on that snow. And you'll notice some of those deeper, darker blues getting in on the brighter colors there to the south. That's where we're looking at some of those higher snowfall rates in areas able to pick up snow fairly quickly. Snow continues to drift north. Now we're at 9 o'clock this evening. Most of the TV9 viewing area under snowfall at this point, and continuing to see that throughout the night tonight. You'll notice some of those deeper, darker blues. I'll actually kind of take it backwards in time here for just a second. Towards that, here we are, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. time frame. Those areas will pick up some snowfall very quickly along or south of about Highway 30 during that time. High snowfall rates. Can't even rule out the potential for a little bit of maybe some thunder snow or something like that at that time, which is where we're just able to pick up a lot of snow in a very short period of time. Again, just ahead of that morning commute. So even with crews out here through the evening, pre-treating or clearing out those first waves of snow, could see a pretty struggling morning commute there. Through Tuesday morning, we'll run from 7 a.m. through about 10 a.m. Starting to see things lightening up, but still light to moderate snowfall throughout the morning, throughout much of the afternoon too, even with a few breaks in the action at times. That snow continues throughout the day and into Tuesday evening as well. It'll probably be 8, 9 o'clock or so before we see that snow really coming to an end. Again, snowfall totals not the only thing we're concerned about. We're also looking at wind, but when it comes to what we're looking at on the ground, blanket statement will say 5 to 10 inches across the area. Those lighter totals, the closer to that 5-inch range, farther into probably our northwestern zone, closer to the Charles City area. The higher totals, the farther to the south. Again, we just showed you much of the area south of I-80 dealing with some of those heavier bands of snow at times. That's where we're going to be closer to that 10-inch range. Some of these totals you may notice are maybe a little bit less than other areas that you've seen. Well, the reason for that is because of that wet, heavy nature of this snow. That is going to help it kind of compact down, as well as melt a little bit initially, and all of that will mean some slightly lesser totals maybe than you've seen otherwise. Either way, definitely an impactful storm system. Again, also dealing with wind during this. This is winds from Tuesday morning through the evening on Tuesday, gusts topping that 30-mile-per-hour mark, could even be upwards of that 40-mile-per-hour mark. Now, the good news with the wet, heavy snow is because it's wetter and heavier, it won't be able to blow around quite as easily, but certainly with strong winds like this, still will be somewhat of a concern for us. In addition, if you're trying to, keep a car on a roadway during winds like that and it's already slick, something else that will make travel even more difficult during the day tomorrow. If at all possible, try not to be out on those roadways. If you must be out on the roadways, make sure you do have a winter weather safety kit packed and ready to go in your vehicle in case you get stranded for a longer period of time. That includes, but not limited to, obviously, that full tank of gas, as well as chargers for yourself, the car, like jumper cables, first aid supplies, blankets, extra warmth, things like that, and things to get traction, sand, kitty litter, or salt, a little shovel to have in your car as well. All of those good things to have in your winter safety kit if you must be out on the roadways during this time. So again, kind of breaking down the start time, a lot of folks wondering when are things going to get going? Well, depending on where you're listening from, where you're watching from right now, that time does kind of waver a little bit, but as early as really within the next hour or so in the far southern reaches of the area, closer to that 5 or 6 o'clock time frame, a little farther to the north, including Waterloo or Cedar Rapids area, and then closer to that 7 o'clock time frame into our northeastern zone for areas like Dubuque up towards Decorah as well. Again, I kind of alluded to this a little bit, but the snowfall consistency this time around, it's going to be pretty heavy snow. So kind of that wetter, heavier snow, really great for snowman making, if that's something that you are into, or if the kids are looking forward to a hopeful snow day already. However, an important caveat to mention with this is that that is the kind of snow that is going to cause problems for people with heart conditions. If you need to clear in multiple rounds, or better yet, if you have a neighbor who maybe has one of these conditions, a little bit older, something like that, try to help them out with this round, because obviously we're dealing with a lot of snow. That has been well addressed at this point, but again, that wet and heavy consistency can make it very dangerous, and we want to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. Let's time things out one more time for you here on Pinpoint Futurecast as we head through the afternoon. That snow continues to lift to the north. Here we are, 5 o'clock. Stopping now at 7 o'clock, seeing much of the TV9 viewing area from Waterloo down to Cedar Rapids and the Quad Cities included in snow, some of it heavy at times where those deeper, darker blues are. And as we continue through the rest of the evening, that snow continues to expand to the north. Overnight tonight, snow continues as well, and those heavier bands start to really filter in by early on tomorrow morning. Snow still with us throughout much of the day on Tuesday, and continuing into the afternoon and still through the evening hours at this point. Again, those snowfall totals anywhere from that 5 to 10 inch range for us. It will be heavy at times, it will be windy, and travel will be difficult. Those are the important things to keep in mind, is the impacts from this round. Again, that evening commute here tonight, roads will already be slick. Depending on where you are, if you're farther to the north, maybe not quite as bad. The farther south you are, definitely will be noticing those slick roads. Tomorrow morning, probably the worst of the commute time frames for us, with that heavy snow and fairly difficult travel. And then that snow still around with us tomorrow evening. Hopefully, if folks are able to stay off of the roadways, then we will be seeing crews able to get out and get roads clear, and then everyone can get back to where they want to be a little bit sooner with that in mind. Another thing I want to address here, this isn't the only round of snow we're dealing with this week. Another kind of weaker system moves through late Wednesday, and then yet another system comes through Thursday into Friday. Now, there will be plenty of kind of downtime with these. Again, that first one later Wednesday, that next one kind of a little bit of break time before it starts to move into the area. But if you look at the 9-day forecast, we do kind of have snow from now until Friday in the icons, but again, there will still be some breaks in the action at times, so don't take that too dauntingly, I guess. There's been some people who are saying it's not going to stop snowing at all. Well, it is. There's going to be some breaks. Again, that Wednesday time frame is denoted as late. That Thursday one, a little bit of dry time too ahead of that. So it's 3 separate systems that we are watching here. One more reminder of where that snowfall is right now for us, starting to move into western Iowa at this time and starting to see some road impacts as well. Let's check out things here on the comments, see if there's any questions that we have. Definitely a lot of varying snowfall totals. Again, our snowfall forecast is in that 5 to 10 inch range. That's what our first alert forecast is with this event here. Hi to Rosemary in Cedar Rapids. Hi to Maggie in Mount Pleasant. Lisa in Grundy Center, hello, thanks for watching. Sarah in Coralville, hi there. Joanne from Dubuque, thanks for watching. Just making sure that everyone is as informed as possible with this event here as it's moving through the area. Seeing a question asking about drive time, 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Well, depending on where you are, Calvin, definitely that's starting to get to be the point where it would be better to be off the roads. If you can get where you need to be this evening before dark and stay there through the night tonight, if you don't have to get out early tomorrow morning, that is absolutely advised. Took some calls from a couple of school districts earlier asking about different activities this evening, and our advice was probably better to go without those. So if you're looking at driving here later on this evening, I would suggest not. Again, if you can try to get where you need to be and stay there. If you don't have to be on the roads, that is absolutely advised. If you do need to be on the roads, there are those of us who do need to do that. That's absolutely true. We understand that. Be sure you allow yourself extra time. Again, make sure you have that winter weather safety kit at the ready, and that you are driving smartly. Again, use those winter driving skills that we are all so familiar with here in Iowa. Drive slow, allow extra time, allow extra space. I'm going to do one more time of timing here on Pinpoint Futurecast, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. Everything starting off for the most part across eastern Iowa is snow. Some questions about ice. Not really sure where those entered the picture, as we have started seeing those over the last couple of days, but we've been talking about snow pretty much this whole time. There could be a little bit of brief melting as things are getting to the ground, but pretty quickly we're going to see this all really dealing as snow. It's going to be more that slushy kind of nature as things melt from the brine and stuff than any ice actually falling from a meteorological standpoint, at least. So 5 p.m. here where we're stopped. 7 p.m. you'll see some of those heavier bands from Tama down towards the Washington County and Washington, city of Washington area. And then that heavier band kind of drifts upwards closer to that I-80 corridor in the Iowa City area as we head towards 9 o'clock. Some heavier pockets in between, obviously, during this entire time frame as well. And then here we'll stop one more time, about 3-4 o'clock, seeing some of those heavier bands moving through. This is certainly the time where we're going to see things really changing around fairly quickly in terms of snowfall rates and snowfall totals in the early morning pre-commute hours. Still some heavy snow around during that morning commute, 7 a.m. where we're stopped right here on Pinpoint Futurecast Tuesday morning, and then continuing to see that snow, even though it's a little bit lighter, not quite as heavy, still light to moderate snowfall on top of all that snow that's already fallen during the overnight hours, still continuing throughout the entire day before things wrap up Tuesday evening. Will be quiet Tuesday night and through a large portion of the day on Wednesday as well. And again, snowfall totals for us anywhere from that 5 to 10 inch range. All right, guys, not seeing any additional questions here. If you're tuning in later, be sure you kind of go back through, and we've timed out the storm a couple times on Pinpoint Futurecast here throughout our chat, but a lot of good information between snowfall totals, the timing of all of that, the consistency of that snow. Again, take it easy out there. If you need to be out on the roads, take it slow, allow that extra time, allow that extra space. If you can, though, stay put, stay safe, and at home where you are. Let those crews, those first responders get out out and do their jobs as best they can, and we should all be back to normal here by Wednesday. Otherwise, if you have any additional questions, you can always comment here, message, or email the First Alert Storm Team. We'll be here throughout this storm coverage and kind of coming up with all of the latest information for you, making sure that you have that information on the First Alert Weather app, kcrg.com/weather, as well as online and on air. So all those different places you can get the most up-to-date information possible. We're constantly putting that out for you. So if there's any further questions, we'll try to kind of come back to them here later on through the afternoon. Obviously, we're pretty busy with storm coverage, but we'll try to get back to those comments throughout the rest of the day as well. In the meantime, I'll leave you again with those snowfall totals, and I hope that everyone is able to stay safe with this winter storm as it moves in. Thanks for watching.